In this tutorial, I just want to talk about a hydration unit, just for like maybe smaller flowers, little broken heads that you have, or even flowers, like say short lasting flowers that you wish to use in maybe your corsages, your wrist corsages, cake top decorations, buttonholes, even the flower crowns. So all it is, well, this is a pretty big lunchbox. All it is a lunchbox. Basically a Tupperware box with a lid on it. It can be any shape or any size. It depends on how many flowers you want to store in it, and make sure the box is big enough or small enough that it fits in your fridge, okay? So all you do is you wet a piece of tissue, you know what I mean? So this is just kind of like your kitchen roll that we use here at the school. We have it wet and you put that in the bottom of the box, okay? So that's fairly wet and fairly soggy. Sometimes maybe at the school the students may be using, I just have a glass vase here, but this probably would be a bucket in real life. And maybe you have, say, broken heads of viburnums, okay? And you will find the viburnum flower, it's not a long lasting flower, it wilts very quick, you know, and can go limp very fast because it needs lots and lots of water. So to use these maybe in a flower crown, don't worry that they're dripping water at the moment, but to use these in a flower crown or even in a buttonhole or a corsage, you will find they're not great for lasting out of water. Or maybe you're making something with a full stem, which is how these are happen to be in the water, and I cut off these heads because I didn't need them and they were getting in the way. So what I recommend is to do, so whether it's a broken head, or whether they're heads that you cut off because they were in the way, or maybe they're heads that you purposely want to use in a flower crown, a buttonhole or a corsage. What I recommend you to do, get a vase of water, a bucket of water is probably the handiest, and literally drown them. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's the stem, the head, the whole lot, and you can leave that 20 minutes up to 3 or 4 hours. Like seriously, you can leave it in as long as you want. And then take them out, so these, and then give them a bit of a drip dry, and drop them down into the box. Now these can be any flowers at all, do you know that way? Like, you know what I mean, any flowers, like sometimes even little garden flowers out of the garden that you'd like to use, and you're kind of saying to yourself, well, I'm not sure how well they last. Best advice I give to you is go and try it. Go out to your garden and pick a few flowers. We just say even, I had like say a ranunculus flower, and I want to use this maybe in a buttonhole or a corsage. So I'm just going to drop it down. We're going to have to pretend, fast forward 20 minutes, you know the way, down in the water. Take it back out. Okay, drip it and then drop it down into the box, okay? So as I said, your box can be as large or small, and it is possible to layer the flowers on top of each other. And then you're just going to get a light piece of, again, damp, wet tissue paper, kitchen roll paper, and just rest that on top of your flowers, so that's what it's going to look like. And then you get your lid, so it has to be sealed, so then you seal on your lid and you place that into your fridge. Now don't put orchids in it because you know the way orchids don't like the cold, okay? Place that in your fridge 2 days, even 3 days, and you'll be absolutely amazed in 2 or 3 days when you open up the hydration unit how perfect the flowers are. But also I find is how long they last out of water for buttonholes, corsages, and the likes of flower crowns or wrist corsages or little cake top decorations. So it's a little trick, especially for bridal work, you know that way, that you can use, and it works on a lot of flowers. So if anybody that working at home there, you have any little spare flower heads, or you have something in the garden, maybe like little geranium heads or begonia heads, and you're just kind of wondering how they last, just try it out. So up to home base, Mr. Price, get yourself a lunchbox. You probably have one in the house anyway. Doesn't have to be as big as this one. I find this is one we use here at the school, and it just works out fine if we have a lot of heads. And if you get into the habit of maybe pre-organising yourself the day before you wish to make the buttonholes and corsages, giving them even 24 hours in the hydration unit before you actually make the buttonholes and corsages, you'll be amazed how long they last. So best of luck, dying to see how you get on. And again, anybody has any questions, just place them in the comments below. Talk to you soon.